got from like California to New York in like an hour or something like that.
You can look this up. There's a patent for a MAGLEV train. It's a magnetically levitated train that can travel from East Coast to West Coast in under an hour. I've interviewed people who said they took this train. The patents are public information. They exist. Throughout history, there have been several cataclysms that took place on the planet. In order for people to survive these cataclysms, they have to go underground. That's why across the world, you see these empty underground networks and cities that were built for this. There's a tribe in America called the Hopi tribe, Native Americans. In their creation story, there's a group called the Ant People. They said the Ant People came from underground and gave them knowledge and taught them information on how to survive the cataclysms on the surface. In order to be able to live subterranean, you gotta have approval. That's where all of these stories come from. We seen a whistleblower come out and said the government spent $21 trillion on building underground cities in case of an extinction event. All across America, we hear people coming out, yo, I hear loud booms and banging underground. That's what's going on down there. And then you see Elon Musk, he has his boring company. Elon Musk goes all through Vegas just for his electric vehicles. That same technology, there are patents for that, to build these underground tunnels. Those are all patented information. You can look this up. They don't allow this information to be used in free technology because it would give a great imbalance to the power structures across the world and the international bankers. Because if you can use magnetic elevation, basically anti-gravity, for travel, that would completely eliminate the use for coal, fossil fuels. All of those billionaires' net worth would drop in a matter of minutes. That's why they keep us in this matrix with one set of science when they know other sets of science definitely exist.
You can go from New York to Brazil, Buenos Aires, and then Antarctica without ever coming up to the surface for air. And you can do it all at way more than 1,000 miles an hour on magnetic levitation trains, otherwise called maglev. One thing he told me, he went from Virginia to Los Angeles in 45 minutes. Do the math, 3,000 miles an hour. Most people don't even believe that there's a tunnel network. There are there are hundreds of thousands of miles of tunnel systems.
音が近づいてきた。今見えた。
Quantum stealth. This amazing invisibility technology was created by Hyperstealth Biotechnology Corp. and has been dubbed a real-life Harry Potter invisibility cloak. The quantum stealth, as it's more commonly called, can obscure objects, making them appear invisible. The sheet is made of light-bending material and boasts the use of something called broadband invisibility. The technology could be used to hide anything from ships to vehicles to spacecraft.
They even had to move 5 cemeteries, because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead. Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And, as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
Northern California, we've got a bit of an unusual situation. Now, this first portion of the radar cycle, fairly bland and typical, but then you see these bands of very distinct cloud cover moving into the region. That is not rain, that is not snow. Believe it or not, military aircraft flying through the region is dropping chaff. Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic or even metallicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're up there practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
The Jews died at Auschwitz, less than 20,000. In all these satellite camps, including Auschwitz, and they not of gassing. There was not a single gas chamber in all of National Socialist dominated Europe, because the method of executing, whether criminal spies, traitors, saboteurs, whatever, in Europe, in every Gentile country in Europe, never ever historically was gas. The only nation that ever had this fetish of gas chambers, which is the most complicated, idiotic and expensive way of people, was the United States.
Russian Empire, blacks were neither enslaved nor suffered discrimination. Furthermore, the costume of the Moors of the imperial court was the most sumptuous of all the court uniforms under the Tsars.
You know, it's really funny, this information that we present. We have to really dig deep in the internet archives. Funny, some of it even cost a pretty good penny, and some are banned. You can't even have it in America. Why isn't this information not mainstream or the narrative?
Do you guys know that the Euphrates River is drying up? Well, they found this cave that was under it, but something really creepy happened when somebody decided to film it. Now, I don't know if this was debunked, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, and I want you guys to tell me what you think. But you can hear like demonic sounds and chains. And people are connecting that video with this passage in Revelations. Then the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God. One saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." So how about we just leave it alone and not go anywhere near it, please?
I learned a lot about women. I think I learned exactly how the fall of man occurred in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Adam said one day, "Wow, Eve, here we are at one with nature, at one with God. We'll never age, we'll never die. And all our dreams come true the instant that we have them." And Eve said, "Yeah, it's just not enough, is it?"
Wow. That's not funny.
I was just waiting for more.
Well, that was kind of his point. Oh, God. That's kind of what he was saying.
It's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long, where they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their meetings, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe.
Where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving black people the same schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different schedule would you say I should have received? What different schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that blacks need fewer antigens than...
This is so dangerous. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
Guys, I finally watched the video of RFK explaining why he felt that black people needed a different schedule, and I'm really disappointed. But I'm not disappointed in RFK. I'm disappointed in the woman who interviewed him or questioned him in Congress. And I'm disappointed in black people who took that moment and ran with it in the opposite direction. I did a very quick and simple dive online to see, is there any proof for this, for what he's saying and stating? And if you had done the same thing, you would realize that the fact that he's even willing to put this out there and say this on behalf of us is actually him advocating for our safety, as opposed to him saying something that is racist. What he is saying is that when you put these into the bodies of African Americans or people who are descended from Africa, it can cause an almost harmful reaction if you are not doing it with the proper context of how we are biologically predispositioned to respond.
They are legitimately, proactively protecting. They are protecting at this point by redacting the abusers' names. The White House, listen up, everybody. The White House is protecting. You hear that? They're protecting. That's what they're doing.
We also have another major issue going on in our ports right now, and I just wanted to speak on it because I don't think a lot of people understand why they're striking. One of the major reasons I've been seeing coming out of videos and reports from people talking about it is that they get tired of hearing screaming inside the containers. Yeah, you heard that right. The workers are striking. And then one of the main reasons is they're tired of hearing shipped over and screaming and banging on the inside of the shipping containers to get out. I understand we have a serious issue in this country. I just did not think it was this bad. Never once did it cross my mind we need to be checking shipping containers for Can you imagine how long somebody's been inside of one of those, depending on how long they were waiting to dock? No heat, no air, nothing. I pray for the workers of the ports because I don't think they signed up to deal with... Pretty sure they were just supposed to move cargo and goods. This is crazy, y'all.
There are bad people out here at a bunch of different levels of the world, and you have to be the one as a parent to figure that out, or even be around enough or have someone there around enough to protect them at that age. You get older, whatever that age is, and you know your kid. You know when your kid, like you're saying, you know when they understand things, when they're going to speak up, when they can really deal with situations. You know your kid, and it's kid to kid to kid. But you need to be the protector of those children. And like you said, I don't care if it's money involved, fame, whatever you want them to become, or whatever you're trying to manifest for them, you still got to be a parent. You're not a manager. You're still their parent. And when the days end, the start and end of the day, you're their parent first, not a manager.
Pedophiles, they hide in broad daylight. You know, they establish some level of trust with the parents or the adult that have to watch over these kids. Like even online. You know, my son, he's a gamer. He's online a lot, and I have to constantly ask him, you know, who's that you're chatting with on Discord? You know, what's their age? You know, I vet the person that's on the opposite end of the chat. Parents, protect your children at all costs. But more importantly, it's about paying attention to your kid. You know, being in their lives, asking questions every single day. Do not get complacent or comfortable, because it only takes a moment for someone else or a pedophile to just slither in and start inviting and doing things, all these different things to your children. So I guess that's my 2 cents.